I always say I have nothing actually to prove. But what I have actually in my plate is to make this world running work. What I have in my plate actually is to promote. I believe anything actually in life you need to move.
The fear is actually you care about that things. Like I think I really care about that.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Set the Pace, the official podcast of New York Road Runners, presented by Peloton. I am your host, Rob Simmelcare, the CEO of New York Road Runners, and with me on what I think will be a very memorable episode of Set the Pace, my co-host, Peloton instructor, Becs Gentry. Hey, Becs.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, I'm great because we are about to talk to two of the all-time legends in the sport of distance running. Can you even believe that we're going to be sitting down and talking to these two individuals?
I'm nervous. I'm so nervous and starstruck. Like Sifan, I love her. I love her. I'm obsessed with her. And Eliud, I met him for the first time when I ran Berlin Marathon, which is almost exactly now, oh my gosh, 8 years ago. And this is weird that it's like exactly to the date, pretty much, that I first met him and like tripped over my words, because it's going to happen again. I'm going to trip over my words and I'm going to look at these two and just see greatness. And I cannot wait for our listeners to hear this conversation.
It's so exciting. As Bex teased, we are going to have Eliud Kipchoge and Sifan Hassan joining us here on Set the Pace. And boy, how much excitement is there for this conversation. We'll get in a minute to why they're joining us on Set the Pace. That's some exciting news as well. But Bex, you and I are seeing each other for the first time in a couple of days. I got a chance to spend some quality time with you on Sunday at the New Balance Fifth Avenue Mile in person. It was a wet day, but I felt like it worked. You know, the rain kind of tapered off in time for, the pro races and a lot of the races, the NYPD, FDNY race late in the day. A lot of the early runners definitely had to run in some rain. It was wet, no doubt about it. So for those running at 7:30, 8:30 in the morning, it was a wet run, but it was only a mile. And,
exactly.
it was cool. And a lot of people thought it was really cool to run in that rain. So it turned out to be a pretty good day for more than 9,000 runners in 30 heats.
Exactly. And I think that is one point to shout out New York Road Runners for the organization of this event, being that it was wet and rainy, being that it was only 1 mile, but the fact that you guys are so organized in getting 30 heats of people rolling on this mile. And it was so well done. So huge congratulations on all of those 9,000 plus smiles. And we saw so many smiles this weekend.
Thank you, Bex. I'll accept thanks on behalf of the team who did a tremendous job on Sunday, as they always do, putting on a great best-in-class experience, as we say, for our athletes. And it was an exciting day for the pro runners. Our friend who we had on Set the Pace last week, Olympic bronze medalist Yared Nuguse, won the men's race at a time of 3:47.7. That was the third fastest time in event history. And man, that race was just tight from the word go right to the finish line. I don't think anybody really was clear that Yared was going to win until the last maybe 10 strides.
I mean, you and I weren't, and we were right on the finish line. I'm not saying my eyesight is terrible, so I was squinting my way through the rain, just trying to see who had a toe ahead. But Parker Wolf, Drew Hunter, and Yared they were kind of trading off step by step. It was that close until Yared just, if you watch back any of the footage, Rob, you can see the grit in their faces. I mean, there was some digging deep happening for the final race of the season for a couple of them, at least, there to kind of get over that line. And Yared's smile when they all of their smiles, but I adore Yared Nuguse. His smile and his elation at that finish was beautiful to see.
It was. He's a wonderful young man, and it was nice to see him get a positive finish to his season after the disappointment of not making it to the World Championships in Tokyo. So congratulations to Yared. The men's race, Becs had 23 finishers under 4 minutes. That's a record. And, Becs, it's interesting watching the pro races on the road like that. And it's just this straight line race, right? There's no inside, there's no outside, there's no turn to kind of sometimes create the tactics around how to pass, right? I mean, everybody's just going in their straight line. And it was interesting to watch that play out in such a tight men's race. The women's race, not quite as tight. Gracie Morris won it with a time of 4 minutes, 15 seconds, 0.5. And that, by the way, was also quite speedy, the third fastest time in event history. And Gracie was kind of a little bit of an upset there. She finished 5th last year, outkicked Kaylee DeLay this year, and the defending champion Carissa Schweitzer. Not a household name for a lot of fans, Bex, but boy, she was so happy to have a real breakthrough moment like that.
She was. Look at that. 2 of them getting their first time wins, and both the third fastest time in event history. That's quite cool. I love matching stats. But Gracie was thrilled. She was absolutely over the moon. And in relation to the mile, to the distance that they covered, she really did outkick the other runners there. She broke away, and she said in the post-race interview that I got to speak to her, she said that she saw Carissa hold on for the halfway the halfway marker.
The bonus, yes. There's a bonus for that, who leads at the halfway point. And that can inject some interesting decision-making into this race.
Absolutely. And she says she watched Carissa go for that and saw her sort of drop back. I guess they notice these small things to the unbeknowing, unprofessional miler eye. We don't really see that. And she said that's when she made her move. She just knew. And boy, did she make her move. She was a good few strides ahead of the other women who have really performed in stronger ways this season and at this race before. So huge congratulations to Gracie, Puma team there. She's going to be a household name. I can see it. She's a really, really wonderful young woman.
Yeah, that really came across in your interview with her. By the way, great job on the interviews for our broadcast, Bex. It was great to see you there at the finish line interviewing all these great pro athletes. And you also got a chance to interview some of the participants in the first ever Broadway mile, and that was a stunning success. We had nearly 70 Broadway performers and theater professionals competing in that first ever Broadway mile. Not only did they come out, raise money, give the fans something fun to cheer for, but they also raised $15,000 for Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS, an incredibly important cause. And it was a lot of fun to see these great folks from our Broadway community out there enjoying the day on Fifth Avenue. The musical Mamma Mia won the team trophy with Jordan Litz, Thomas Dogler, and Hannah McGrath posting the fastest men's, non-binary, and women's Broadway mile times. So that was a great day, and it really added a lot to this event. So you can all expect to see another Broadway mile next year, and we'll make it even bigger and better. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, and our previous guests, Jordan and Ellie, will be absolutely elated to see that number raised for Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS. They were, if you haven't listened to that episode, go back, listen to it from a couple of weeks ago to understand exactly where and what that money will be going towards, because I think Jordan described it so eloquently and with so much personal passion. It's something we should all understand more about.
Yeah, it was a great day. So congrats to all of our Broadway mile finishers. All right, Bex, we've talked about a lot of the fast runners, the pros, and the Broadway milers, but we have not focused on one of the real stars of the day, I thought, which was your daughter, Tallulah, running her first ever New York Roadrunners race. That's right. Yay! She ran stage 1 and came running down that Fifth Avenue stretch with Austin, right? And was just adorable. Won her heat with Austin's assistance, but we won't count that. Won her heat, and just the smiles on her face, your face, Austin's face. That, to me, was just what it's all about at New York Roadrunners. It's on your social, by the way. I love the post of it on your social. What was it like, Bex, for you to see your pride and joy, your daughter, cross her very first finish line?
Oh my gosh, Rob, that was, I mean, first of all, thank you to all the team for getting her in and signed up. I love leaving everything to the last minute in my races, and apparently I'm putting that onto my daughter as well. So big shout outs to Matt and Christine for getting her in there. But she was so excited. I mean, she came to the broadcast booth beforehand. I had her bib. And she was just, I felt like she was in the zone. She was Tallulah doesn't stand still, but she was standing so still, letting me pin her bib on her. And she was just like, yeah, I got this, Mom. And Austin took her to the start line, and she was surrounded by all the other kids and parents, because obviously of their age, they're not old enough to quite run it by themselves.
Yeah, they've
They
almost
have
all got parents running down that
yeah,
stretch.
parent
with them.
escort.
Yes.
Next year, I think she'll just go for it. And I was about to do my first pre-record hit for the broadcast, so I was already at the finish line. And I could just see her standing there, and she was in Austin's arms to begin with, and she was sort of looking around at everyone, taking it all in. She's such an observant child. And the minute he put her on the floor, I could see her little legs were starting to go. She's a very fast runner, naturally. I don't know where she gets that from.
Yeah, who knows where that could possibly come from.
And she's strong. She's strong. She is a absolute force when it comes to her strength for her age. Her pediatricians always said she's a very, very strong girl. And she went for it. I think she was dragging Austin. I mean, Austin was trying to keep it together there. And the smile on her face, she truly enjoyed it. I mean, you do look around, you saw other kids kind of crying, being bribed with a bagel or whatever it was to get over the finish line. But T was just boom, off she went. And I think everybody saw on the broadcast her elation. She wanted to go again. She was like, again.
It was so special to see. She gave you and Austin a little kiss afterwards. And
Yeah.
I was so happy for you guys. It would look like just a great, great memory for you all. So I hope you got some video and some great pictures. And that's
I'll have to get the official video from the incredible cameraman Kale, who was with us in that moment. I have to try and find that, and her bib will be framed for sure.
100%. Congratulations to Tallulah and to you and Austin. That was really a special moment. Well, Becs, let's talk about my training for a minute or two here.
Yes.
Here I am, 5 weeks or so out from the Chicago Marathon on October 12th. And, you know, the training for these endurance events, it's just not a straight line, right? We have weeks that are great, and then we have weeks where we feel exhausted and there are setbacks and you start to question things. And I'm having one of those weeks this week.
Okay.
It's funny. I had a great day on Labor Day, as you'll remember, running the New Haven half, and that was great. And then, you know, there was a stretch of heat and humidity that we had here over this past weekend. A lot of folks might remember Saturday in the New York area, the day before the Fifth Avenue Mile, and before that front came in that produced the rain on Sunday. It was a brutal day. It was very hot and humid. And I wasn't even trying to go long that day, Bex. I actually decided that I was going to go a little bit short because I'm going to go long with the Bronx 10 miler on Sunday, and then long again for our 18 miler in the park the week after that. So I was going to give myself a little bit of a break this week and run like 10. But Bex, that was hard to get through. I mean, it was so brutal, and I just felt like my body was just blowing up. You know, it was the heat and humidity is tough for me. And, you know, it's just, you're going to have those pluses and minuses. I guess one question I have for you, Bex, is when you do hit a patch like this, where you start to just feel worn down, and this has been a long block for me. I'm doing like 15-week training block. I've never really done one that long. Like, what do you do? What do you do? I did decide to kind of take the foot off the pedal a little bit just to catch my breath and try to recharge a bit. But what are your thoughts on taking a break, you know, and that deload week, as it were, when you start to feel like it's really getting heavy for you?
Yeah, great question. It's something that I think inevitably we all go through. Some of us will experience it deeper than others. I think it's so important to have deload weeks. Reducing the intensity, that's all that really means. You keep up your routine, but your intensity, your duration, paces, everything gets a little bit less. I tend to program people at least 2 deload weeks in an 18-week program. Obviously, the 18-week program includes 2 weeks of taper. So you're really actually training for 16 weeks. Within that will be 2 deload weeks, because not just mentally, but physically, the body, as you say, it starts to feel tired. And it's very, very frustrating when you're putting in all of this time and effort into what you want to be a linear progression towards the start finish line, and you feel like you are plateauing and you're not making any progression. So I think when you have those deload weeks, you allow your body to catch up with all of the hard work that's being done. And I think mentally that is a huge light bulb moment that we all need to understand, is that it's okay. That's your body's sign of saying, hey, I'm going to stick with you here, but you need to stick with me. I need to just reel it back a little bit. I need all these adaptations to fulfill themselves, and then we will keep going. Because if you keep pushing, most of us are not able to do that, because we have 101 other things going on outside of our running training. And we may be subconsciously pushing in those areas of our lives as well, be it career, personal life. And it will always come out physically. Always. You know, you can have you can be concerned and stressed about something at work, a presentation. You'll feel it in your traps, perhaps in tension, or maybe you have your lower back. And it's just, your body just gives off these signs. So have that in your mind. And yes, please pull it back. Just pull it back. And it's up to you whether you pull back duration or intensity. Mileage decrease is absolutely fine on these drop down weeks. In fact, it's encouraged. If you want to keep the mileage up because mentally for you want to keep increasing mileage, fine. Decrease your pace. Take it away from marathon pace and just take it to long, steady, slow running. Almost don't look at your watch. You know what I mean? Like, you just run. You're just running. You're just moving, because in the end, it's just getting the miles in the legs. So you have to kind of work with your coach to understand, all right, I'm a distance person, or I'm a time person, or, a pace person. Which one's going to make you feel better or worse, conversely? And just, maybe your speed sessions that week aren't so prescriptive. They aren't like, all right, you're going to hit your 1 mile repeat time. It's going to be, hey, we're just going to do 3 minutes hard effort. You tell you what your hard effort is in that moment, and you're going to do 10 3-minute hard effort intervals. And hard effort is that day. It is pertinent to that exact day. There's no numbers attached to it, so you can't feel disappointed because you're not like, whoa, that wasn't my mile pace. So it's about offloading all the stress mentally and physically for those weeks. So I think you did the right thing by just taking your foot off the gas. And, it's a great time to think about food, sleep, rest. Where can you on the next 6 weeks, where can you squeeze in a nap? I know you're CEO of a company, very difficult to do that.
All I think about is sleep. It really, part of it is I'm really trying to enforce my bedtimes. I'm not letting that, I really want to watch one more quarter of that NFL game when the game's going to run till 11:30 at night. Like, you know what? I'll find out what happens in the morning, 10 o'clock, I'm shutting it down, right? Because I do feel that makes a big difference. I've got the New Balance Bronx 10 miler, which, by the way, Becs, is low key one of my favorite races of the year on the New York Road Runners calendar. I've never run this race. Oh my God.
I know.
You have got to come out and run this race. It is so much fun. It is such a great course. There is such great energy. I haven't missed this race once since I've been here, and this is not going to be the year I'm going to miss it either. So that's a 10 miler. My plan is to run that, Becs, and then add 10. I'm thinking maybe 10 at marathon pace, 10 at like an easier pace. On Sunday.
Just enjoy the miles in the Bronx. Do that or whatever, and then when you're by yourself, you could almost head straight to the West Side Highway and do some flat,
Something
fast.
nice and flat.
Yeah, something flat and fast. You'll be in the city. You can just get amongst everybody else who's out there running the miles, which is also very uplifting. I think sometimes maybe for you in Connecticut, when you do these longer miles, there's less runners out there
Yeah, and
to
it's
give you that
hilly.
motivation. And
That's
it's
so
hilly.
true.
But in New York, we're so lucky because there are hundreds of thousands of people probably training for these 4 races right now. And so Saturday, Sunday, well, even Friday at the moment, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there is just hordes of people getting those miles in, and you feel that camaraderie. It gives you that energy when you are feeling a little bit, oh God, 5 more weeks, I've got this.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. All right. Well, thanks,
soak up that
Bex.
New York love.
Yeah, I'm going to need it. Thank you for that, Coach. Appreciate it. All in all, I'm still feeling good. So just got to get through a couple of these tough weeks as we approach some of those peak training runs. I know a lot of you training for New York are still on the upswing towards some of those. So, you know, just keep it together and obviously stay positive and do what you need to do for your body, because we all know it's a long haul, and making it to the starting line is one of the biggest accomplishments in running a marathon. All right, Bex, we have such an exciting announcement this week at New York Roadrunners. 2 of the greatest marathoners in history are about to take on the TCS New York City Marathon for the very first time. Eliud Kipchoge and Sifan Hassan will be joining us today to talk about their recent race in Sydney. That's right, they both ran Sydney.
Just a small one.
Just a little bit of an effort. Sifan Hassan won the TCS Sydney Marathon. Eliud Kipchoge finished in 9th place, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the personal philosophies that drive them, and I loved hearing Kipchoge talk about his philosophy after Sydney and why they are taking on the 2025 TCS New York City Marathon less than a couple of months after running Sydney. So we can't wait to hear from both of them. We also have a very special member moment today. On this 24th anniversary of 9/11, I spoke with FDNY Battalion Chief Denis Sweeney. He's not only a marathon runner, but also a vital partner to both New York City and New York Roadrunners. Our races in our city are safer because of Denis and his colleagues at FDNY. And so I'm looking forward to that conversation as we do approach the 24th anniversary of 9/11. Finally, today, Meb will be here to talk about the 2025 New York City Marathon by the mile. He continues that by the mile countdown, and he's going to be halfway there. Today, he's going to be talking about miles 13 through 15.
Fuel your training with pre- and post-run meals from Cook Unity, packed with protein and energizing carbs from top chefs and a sport dietitian. All meals are delivered to your home and ready to eat in 2 minutes. Head to cookunity.com/NYRR and use the code MARATHONMEALS for 50% off your first order.
Today on Set the Pace, we are joined by 2 of the greatest marathoners of all time, Eliud Kipchoge and Sifan Hassan. Kipchoge, at the age of 40, remains the philosopher king of distance running, still training under Patrick Sang after more than 2 decades while balancing the highs and lows of recent seasons. And Hassan, fresh off of her win at the Sydney Marathon and, of course, her historic Olympic triple in Paris, continues to push boundaries across distances few thought possible. Neither of these 2 legends has ever run the TCS New York City Marathon until now. That's right. They will both be joining us in 2025, and we are so honored to welcome them both to New York and to set the pace for the very first time. Eliud, Sifan, it is an honor to speak to both of you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too, and yes.
It is. I feel like I'm speaking to. Well, you are to me. You are both royalty. To this runner over here, I am overwhelmed with great gratitude for having you here today. I think Eliud, actually, you and I met 8 years ago, almost exactly 8 years ago in Berlin, after you absolutely crushed your race there. And Sifan, we are yet to meet in person, but I promise when I see you in New York, I'm going to be the weirdo who gives you a big squeeze, because you are such an inspiration to everybody, but especially women in sport. And my little girl is already going to be idolizing you. So thank you for everything you both do to elevate this incredible sport.
So let me start by asking both of you. Eliud, we'll start with you. What made you decide to run New York this year for the first time. We've been waiting for you in New York. We have been dreaming and hoping for this moment. You just ran Sydney, as did Sifan, finished in 9th place, had a great day. But why was this the year, Eliud, to finally run New York and collect your 6th Abbott World Marathon Major star?
Uh, I think this is actually the best time actually for me to line up at the starting line actually of the New York City Marathon. Uh, Reason number one is that I really want to join those who are actually the biggest crowd ever in this world. I want to join them to click over 60,000 finishers or even 65,000 finishers this year. I want to join them. I want to be actually proud to talk that I was among the group actually who actually break their own records by, the best and the highest ever finishers. So I think New York actually, one is that it's the best course ever, and I think it's good for me to experience. It's the speediest and the wonderful city which I want to walk all around city, see how fast the city is, visit many people who actually love the sport and who believes on what I am actually saying and what I am doing in New York. And those are the factors that are making me to come to New York for 2025.
Sifan, what about you? You just won the TCS Sydney Marathon, so you might be a little tired from that, but we know from Paris that you don't get tired easily. So what is it that made you decide to run New York so soon after winning in Sydney?
Yeah, believe me, for marathon you get tired. In Paris, because I did the marathon in the last day. After the marathon, I was break, but I was broke actually. So it's like for marathon, I'm so tired. I haven't recovered yet from Sydney marathon. Yeah, it's like to me, it's like yeah, I just started like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, London. It's just fresh, but still, I actually was planning to run last year to New York, and I was thinking of it, but I really after Paris, I was emotionally damaged, also physically. So I was like, not only because of I ran marathons in Paris, I was really I couldn't do. I was sick. I couldn't recover. So that's why I did. I say next year, inshallah, we'll do it. So that's the reason I did this year. And New York is to me, especially, it's a very famous city. Everybody talk about it, and this is a big city. I don't know who doesn't know New York. So that's I want to run in the big, as a child also, more than America, I know New York. Like when I was small in Ethiopia, we know like New York, everybody say New York. And also I've been in New York a couple times, but it's so busy. I hope in the marathon we don't have that. No problem. I will stretch. If I'm so busy, I would just stretch. I just take drink or work, no problem. But it's like that's the reason. Also, the other reason they have a lot of fans. It's almost they have like more than 1 million fans around. Like they're watching. There's a lot of public watching. This like they give you energy. They cheer you. You feel like you are at world champion at Olympic. They give you motivation. That you also feel like it give you meaning of running. It give you meaning of marathon. So that's what I excited most of the time about New York. When I think of like when I watch the New York marathon, I see how many people are crazy watching. So imagine I'm running like more than 1 million people watching. It's gonna give me a lot of energy. So that's make me excited.
That's a really beautiful message for not just the professional athletes, but the everyday runners who might be embarking on the TCS New York City Marathon for the first time. Our crowds here are the best in the world. Fact. And you're correct. There's well over 1 million people come out on the day to cheer you on every step of the way. You will not be alone. There will be New Yorkers on every corner, and the energy gives every runner the impetus to get to that finish line so strong. And it will be fast-paced. I will warn you, Sifan. This city is very fast-paced, but I'm sure your coaches and your teams will have your schedule accordingly calm when you're not around it. But it's infectious. It's truly the best day. And I know that hearing that you both are going to be here it's probably going to attract another million people to the sidelines. So soak it in.
It's really great. It's really, wherever I'm in New York, I feel like I'm human being, because it's like women should be like that, like a lot of people around, and we should it's like a lot of people. That's what I love actually, a lot of people around that, and a lot of traffic also. I don't like the car way, but the people, no problem that way.
I love it. I really love it. Eliud, what are your thoughts about New York? How much time have you spent in New York? Have you been here many times? And what are you most looking forward to do in New York besides running the marathon?
I've been in New York many times. I like New York generally, and besides the marathon, I went to visit, most of the partners who actually believe in what I am saying, who believes actually in this journey of movement, in this journey of making New York a running city and making America a running nation. I will want to visit them. People want to learn from a lot of sports, visit the basketball to see whether to learn, just get the knowledge. Visit the ultimate UFC if that okay, if I will be lucky actually to have a fight in New York. I will have to visit or even visit their gym to see what's happening. So a lot actually is in my bucket list as far as New York is concerned. I hope I will finish them all before I leave New York.
Amazing. Sifan, whilst we're talking about start lines, you've been heard to say that you are one of the most scared people when it comes to the start line of your races, which is, I can believe it, but I can also, it just astounds me because of your profession and your expertise. But do you think that your fear sometimes makes you stronger?
I used to say why I have that, but when I get as long as long you grow up, I get mature, the more wiser. I think it is also because the fear is actually you care about that things. Like I think I really care about that. If I most of the time when I look back then as a young, I scare most of the time for 1500. Than 800. So I want to look because I really care about 1500 back then. But now I think I'm scared of marathon because I look back. I think I don't it's okay. I enjoy marathon because most of the time it just luckily I get away win it. That thing, but I really deep down I care so much. So that's why I think I'm scared. Maybe I even deep down I want to be the best of myself. I think I want to be the greatest that I want to show myself. That's why I think I'm scared. I thought it's not just nature. I'm thinking, so why I'm so scared always? Because I care, I think. I really care. If I don't care, why I scared?
Yeah.
I tell and see most of the people, I told them, when you're nervous, actually, you care about that thing. So, that's what I figured out myself. And when people scare, actually, they're going to do great. So, as long as they don't make mistake. But it's not in the do. They're going to do again and again, again.
It reminds me of the famous quote by the tennis player Billie Jean King, who says pressure is a privilege, right? If you feel the pressure, it means you're in a privileged position of caring and really wanting to do well. And so I love the way you talk about that, Sifan. Eliud, for you, it's maybe it's a different feeling, maybe less pressure. You tell me. I mean, tell me what it's like, because as you said the other day in Sydney after you finished 9th, you don't have anything to prove. You have done it all in this sport. You have been the man for a very long time. So do you feel pressure or nerves going into races? What are you, when you step to the starting line in New York, what are you thinking in your mind you most want to achieve?
The first thing is that I still feel pressure. I still feel tense. The reason is that it shows that I'm really ready. But in New York, actually at the starting line, I will still feel actually tense. But all in all is that I always say I have nothing actually to prove. But what I have actually in my plate is to make this world a running world. What I have in my plate actually is to promote. I believe anything actually in life you need to move, to promote the movement of running, to actually get as more as possible people to run and be held, able to actually people to set a lot of clubs around the world, have runs, park runs, road runs and everywhere in this world, and I will be supporting them. And That's what is in my mind now, as far as. But all in all, I still want to start, finish in a good way, still train competitively, run competitively, but finish actually by actually leaving my footprints in New York, which tells people, let us all run, let us make New York a running city, let us make that Manhattan actually everybody to be feel every morning actually everybody to run over the weekend 10 times, a lot of people 10 times to come in and run. And that's what I'm there for.
I love that. The statement you made was absolutely wonderful. You know that, I'm sure you've been told by everybody, that saying the things you said after coming in ninth, like we should be celebrating every position that comes over the finish line, as well as the people who don't, because race day is the celebration, the training, as you say, training like a professional athlete for you both, training hard for people who are just starting out running. That is so important to being healthy and making a routine and falling in love with running, is the training, is the day in, day out, moving your body. So that was just wonderful. And seriously, nothing to prove, dude. You're the GOAT. Forever. Can we talk about Sydney just a little bit? Sifan, you went out hard, like really hard in Sydney, on what is reported to be a tough course, quite similar to our course here in New York City. And I mean, can you just talk us through those first like 5K? What was going through your mind?
Let me tell you, this is the first time I ever feel in the start line good, or at the start. Whether around 850, 10,000 meters, since I'm like, I don't know, more than 10 years, I'm like pro athlete. I always will like feel so terrible. I thought, oh, today's my day. Last time I feel like crazy. I was almost going to the first 1K. I was go behind almost the guys. I think I want to be also famous, just be with Eliud. That is like crazy. I was really feeling great, and I was like, wow, okay. Then I don't know how marathon is like hurt you so badly.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, after 50 or 20K, I was like, oops, I make mistake. I make mistake, telling myself how stupid I am. But alhamdulillah, I get away with it. Like I was like, let me check. Okay, I'm gonna keep continue. No, it's okay, no problem. It hurts so badly. You know, it happened. It started hard. It's no problem. Yeah, I started very hard in Chicago, but I wasn't really feel good because they start so hard. I was like, what the frick? I'm gonna run 50, 100 minutes. Why did these people so hard? But in Sydney, I did myself because I feel so good. I like the pace is like, calm down and say, no, go. I'm like, I was like, wow, okay, I'm gonna like crazy time. I told myself, but I didn't know that's up and down. It just beat me very hard. I was like talking to myself until the last 2 kilometers. So it's like, I was like, punish myself so hardly. And I was like, seriously, my both leg, my up leg, feel like a numb.
Oh.
But I still continue. I was actually kind of proud of myself. Like, I can go so deep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was crazy. It's like crazy. I hope I do that also. Like, I have so strong mentality in the city also, in New York too.
Yeah, we love that, and a lot of marathoners can relate to that feeling of, oh my gosh, what did I do? I went out too fast, because then you're worried about paying the price. So you certainly managed to hold on.
Yeah.
I just want to ask the two of you about getting to know each other, because I noticed in Sydney you did so many of your appearances together. There are so many smiles between the two of you when you are together, and you really are this incredible duo, a man, a woman, both reaching the heights of this sport and inspiring so many people. What has it been like to spend this time together? And Eliud, and I'll ask the same question of Sifan, but what do you, Eliud, most enjoy and admire about Sifan Hassan?
I think, Sifan is crazy, I admire everything the way he talks actually, how she is actually handling herself when we are together. And, and above all, actually, how she promotes the sport as far as women is concerned. I think I'm really interested and, I'm enjoying when we're actually at a press conference or doing some interview with her to get what's going on in his mind, what has been going on for the last 3 months in training. It's really very good.
How about you, Sifan? What do you most enjoy about Eliud and admire about him?
It's true. Like you say, I'm crazy. He's very calm. Very, I really like bitumen him energy because so like Elliot is very calm and crazy. So people whoever have my character kind of like because we human being we're gonna share each other. People who have Elliot character also they could be great as long as do whatever they are doing as long they do their best. So it is good actually for the view for the people who watch, they don't have to change their character. You could be like yourself, be crazy, and still be the best. And I'd be like childish, like me. Or you could be also calm down, slowly speaking, very philosophical. You would still be the best. So Elliot for me is like he's really great, and especially when people tell him when you retire, like that pisses me off. Like I want to see him actually, like you know what the funny thing being pro athlete is the hardest. If the man have mentality to keep going, why we ask him? We should proud of him. Be number 9 is crazy marathon. So we should just go as long if you don't tired of it, being prone, being every day wake up, being consistent and pushing yourself to the limit, and being so excited, so nervous, and people standing there. That is like very hard. If you have that brain, we should proud of him and we should learn just keep going. I will wish he go until 65. I don't know 100 years as long as he lives. He will be motivated. Like he will help me actually. Like, why only running we saw? We work until 75, right? I don't know. In Netherlands, we work until 70. So why we return running?
What do you think, Eliud? 75? Keep going?
Yeah, until 100, please. I want to live after 100%.
During the 86 kilometers actually marathon in South Africa, I had it this year. Then one of the old men actually, the oldest one was 86 kilometers. And the guy actually finished those distance in 10 hours. So
Wow.
it's really grateful
At
to have such a
86?
people still run. Yes, at 86.
Wow. Wow. And I bet they enjoyed every moment of it as well, running with a smile and being blessed that they could still move their bodies.
So I need to have to break down my record. So I will break also the oldest woman. I will be the oldest woman to break.
Brilliant.
When he's 60.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Yes. We'll wait for it to happen. Absolutely beautiful. We really hope that you both continue to run and continue to tell anyone who asks you, Eliud, when you're going to retire to, with all due respect, shut up. Because ask them how fast they can run a mile. They're not going to catch you.
Yeah. One thing I want to say, I really impress his mentality. I really impress his patience. And he's how somebody have so passion. I'm really jealous on it. Like he's the god. To me, it's the god.
Absolutely.
Like his patience is passion is the god. Like so strong mentality.
Mm-hmm. All round in every single way. I loved how you said, Sifan, it's like a philosopher. I think I have always thought of you that way, Eliud. You're like a running philosopher. Every time you speak, it is profound, and your performances are profound. So you named it perfectly there, Sifan.
So, Sifan, coming off of a win in Sydney, what do you think is possible in New York? How I know you're still recovering, but when you start to retrain, and we have a lot of runners in our community, recreational runners, who will run 2 marathons in the fall, in Sydney and New York or Chicago and New York. But it's unusual for the pro side, although you do have a couple of good months between Sydney and New York. What do you think is possible?
Look, I have very 2 best Oberian Lakodi, they are very strong. So to me, I have to really be run smart, also do my best really physically or tactically or mentally, because that's not easy. These people also know it's not only you strong, you win. They are also very smart runner also. Especially Aubrey, like she's the best. So she couldn't also give up, It's like, it's also she finished also, she can kick very well also. So I really want to be, I will see I want to do my best. I wish I win that. If I win that, man, I win like lottery. I would be so happy. It's like crazy. The best years. So I wish I would be the best. I wish I would be at least one of the greatest. Yeah, I wish I would do my best that I would see it, but it's really hard to say, I will win 100% because the lady are like crazy. They are very strong. So I don't have really easy concurrence. It's not only they are physically strong, also they are mentally strong.
Yes.
Yeah, and they know the course well. I think.
Yeah, freaking, they know the course because Obiri ran like 4 times or
Yes.
3 times. I don't know.
3 or 4 for sure, Helen. Yeah. Do you find it? Do you learn when you run alongside these women who have so much experience on a course that's new for you?
Yeah, because I really have to focus on them. I have to learn because I'm gonna, because these people, these women, they also experience. They are been running a long time. Obiri especially, I don't know how lucky it is. Obiri been she's before me there, so she's more also wiser and so stronger. It's very smart lady also. So she already have. She know all the route, for me just new. I try to just be my best and try to be smart, and even sometimes I'm not smart.
Yeah, you're pretty smart.
We like the risk taker in both of you.
Yeah.
Eliud, for you, so many recreational runners like myself dream of this 6-star medal, right? Completing the Abbott World Marathon Major 6-star. This will be your 6-star. You've actually, it will be your 7th because you ran Sydney, but you'll receive that 6-star medal from our friends at Abbott World Marathon Majors when you cross the finish line in Central Park. What does that mean to you?
Wow, it means a lot. I'm looking forward for that medal actually to hang on my neck, and I'm really looking forward. I think that will have a huge voice on my social media channels to tell people, hey, this is the right movement, this is running, this is New York, and I think it will help me to put more footprints in at the finishing line actually of the New York Marathon. So I'm really looking forward. I've been actually taking photos with those who have actually the 6-star, but I think this year I'm the one.
That is so exciting. I didn't know that was your 6/7 star, but congratulations in advance. It's a really
Thank you.
I cried for like half an hour when I got mine because it was years, and like you, it took years for it to come together, and it's an achievement for every single runner out there. My gosh, everybody who is listening, who is also getting your 6-star, you are getting your 6-star with the GOAT. I mean, wow.
It will be incredible for them. And of course, most of those 6-star finishers didn't win most of the marathons where they got their 6-star, but they can still relate. And Eliud, I think it's so amazing that it does mean something to you because it means so much to so many people who are following your lead and just running, right? And running around the world and moving their bodies. So just to have the ability to relate to you in that way, I think will be very special to a lot of runners.
So I think you should organize after actually finishing the race. You should organize a big photo shoot for all of us who will be having the 6-star. At the street, it will be actually very good. So please organize for us so that I take a beautiful photo actually with everybody who actually will be given a medal.
I'm on it. We're on it. I will talk to Donna Stone, the CEO of Abbott World Marathon Majors, and we will definitely make that happen because what a thrill that would be for everybody to be in a 6-star photo with the GOAT, as we all agree, Eliud Kipchoge.
Absolutely, please. Yeah.
Sifan, I want to ask the same question to you I asked to Eliud earlier. What's one thing you want to do while you're in New York besides run?
Oh, frig, I want to eat pizza.
Yes.
The spicy one. I like spicy pizza. The Italian way. I'm gonna eat it with a hand, so I don't have to fight with the Italians. I eat pizza because they are.
Oh my goodness.
I understand eat pizza on the street.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I love what she said. Did you hear what she said? She's going to use her hands, not a fork and a knife, which is that the New Yorkers will respect you much more for that. I love that, Sifan.
With the grease
also the
like
Italian
dripping
will
down.
respect me too.
Yeah. Oh, we'll have to make sure that your team has the right place to take you for a spicy New York pizza.
Yeah.
I've got some ideas for you. Well, I can't say how excited we all are to have you in New York. This is going to make it a truly special TCS New York City Marathon. So thank you both for joining us. Sifan, you're in your car, I think, and somewhere in Ethiopia. So thank you for joining us there late at night, obviously. So great to have you. Eliud Kipchoge, thank you. We are so thrilled and cannot wait to welcome you here to New York. We will see you soon. If you're training for a race or just trying to stay motivated, Peloton is the perfect running companion. Their instructor-led runs and walks are built to fit into your training routine with classes that help you stay consistent, build speed, and enjoy the experience. Take your metrics, see your progress, and train smarter with pace targets, HIIT runs, and so much more. They've got it all to help you reach your goals and stay on track. Ready to take your race training up a notch? Learn more at onepeloton.com/race-training. Peloton, an official partner of the 2025 TCS New York City Marathon. New York Roadrunners puts on over 60 races every year across all 5 boroughs of New York City, which means we work closely with a lot of city agencies, including the NYPD, the Department of Transportation, and our longtime partners at the FDNY. One of those partners is Battalion Chief Denis Sweeney. He's a trusted collaborator here at New York Roadrunners and also a pretty accomplished runner. Denis is also the founder of the FDNY Running Club, and he's completed 21 New York City marathons. As we mark the anniversary of 9/11, the 25th anniversary next year, Denis joins us for today's member moment to reflect on how running and firefighting have shaped his life of service. Denis, I've seen you at a few finish lines. We've done the Mayor's Cup presentations with the competition with the NYPD, but it's nice to have you on Set the Pace. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here and talk about the community building that we do with the department and all the races within the races that the Roadrunners offer us.
Yeah, we got a lot of those, and you guys are a big part of those. One thing about you, Denis, I think is interesting, and I actually just kind of learned this getting ready for this podcast. You didn't start out as a firefighter. You actually worked in finance on Wall Street for a few years. What made you decide to leave that career and join the FDNY?
I had a pretty accomplished career for a couple of years, but while I was working on Wall Street, I reflected back on my first job, which is one of my favorite questions to ask new acquaintances. I think it says a lot about where you grew up and what your values might be. And my first job was painting houses with a crew. My mom set me up with a sole proprietor, and I learned a lot about camaraderie, humor, overcoming challenges as a team. And I was having a tough day walking home from work one time. I saw an FDNY rig go by, and I thought, I bet those guys have some of those qualities that I enjoyed in house painting. I had no family on the job, no real connections, but I took the test, and it turned out to be a great fit.
Wow. So you were looking for that kind of team environment that you get. And I know you guys have some very tight-knit teams. You need it for the really difficult work you do at FDNY.
Well,
you've run
your first job.
Oh, my first job. Well, gee, the first time I ever got a paycheck for anything, Denis, I worked at a grocery store. I was like a summer job, a cashier, and I used to scan people's groceries, and I had a bagger, and I guess what I learned from that was I had to deal with a lot of people, the public, right? So every single person who'd come into the store that day, they might be in a good mood, they might be in a bad mood, they might be friendly, not so friendly. So I learned to deal with a lot of different types of people in that job, which
first jobs can be really formative.
100%. Absolutely. Your running career is pretty impressive. I mean, let alone your firefighting career, 21 New York City marathons. What has made you such a stalwart marathon runner? What was the reason you ran speaking of first, why did you run your first one?
I probably ran my first one to reassert my sense of identity as a New Yorker. I was a young child in the city. We lived on 38th and Lex, and then my mom needed to get out. She couldn't handle it with 3 kids. So we moved to New Hampshire. I did the back half of grade school in New Hampshire and high school as well, and took up running in high school. Wasn't particularly accomplished, but had a great team. And then when I came back, it was almost a foregone conclusion that if you were a runner and you were a New Yorker, you ran the New York City Marathon. I basically had to. And I guess I ran my first one probably in 03. And after that, I just had to keep going.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I also, as a young runner in New York, I just felt I had to do it and did mine in 97. So I was a little bit ahead of you, but you're way ahead of me now in terms of how many of these things you've run. And the FDNY Running Club is such a big part of your life. It's such a big part of our events at New York Roadrunners. We love it when the FDNY, NYPD, the other city agencies line up to compete. What inspired you to start that run club inside of the fire department?
Well, I do appreciate that aspect of the intro. Not probably 100% true, maybe reinvigorated. There was a newsletter and a competitive crew back in the 70s. In fact, one of our archivists found the original first FDNY Running Club newsletter. I can send it to you later for your perusal. I would say with the tragedy of 9/11, certainly things like that became less important. I joined in 2005 when the department was still rebuilding. And I sort of held my peace as a junior firefighter for a few years. But after maybe 5 years, I realized that I could contribute my organizational skills, run a newsletter, try and encourage turnout to memorial races and the Roadrunner events. And I would say reinvigorated the club from its downturn.
Yeah, and there was some great history. Gary Murky, the winner of the very first New York City Marathon, had been a firefighter. So you guys had some history when it came to running. And I guess there's clearly some crossover between the two things. What do you find for your firefighters, for yourself, is the biggest benefit that running gives you when it comes to doing the job of an FDNY member?
Well, I think certainly an appreciation for cardio fitness is a definite aspect of the running club that we're happy to push out to the members. And one that I emphasize in all my chit chats and all my newsletters can be found at every level of competition. You know, the running club motto is we don't need the fastest folks. We want turnout from our members to come join, have just a group run, a small race, a big race, and afterwards we'll solve the problems of the fire department over a rehydration session, if you will. But it's definitely great for health and fitness awareness. It's great for camaraderie. I call it my second firehouse, you know, where I get that sense of community in addition to where I'm working. And I found that to be really fulfilling. And I hope we've accomplished that for all of our members.
Absolutely. So since I've been here, Denis, I've seen NYPD and FDNY face off a number of times. You guys have a few chances to compete against each other. There's the Fifth Avenue Mile, the New Balance Fifth Avenue Mile. There's a competition there. There's the Mayor's Cup at the TCS New York City Marathon as well. There's the Commissioner's Cup, which includes a lot of other city agencies as well. So how friendly is the competition? You guys seem to really get along at these races, so I sense it's really friendly, but it's competitive. You guys have some real competitive people on both sides of that aisle.
Oh, certainly. There's certainly bragging rights, and there's an old line about the fire department. They call it high school without homework. And the opportunity to have a rival like the NYPD, a very valiant rival that has accomplished runners, it makes every race, you know, even more fun than certainly just an opportunity for a personal best. And you know, the marathon itself is I have to admit, a very unusual scoring mechanism. It is scored by whichever department gets 10 members over the line first. It is effectively a 10th runner competition rather than a cumulative time or average time. And confounding to many, and can lead to some stunning results, including last year where I'm embarrassed to say I don't remember the name of the police officer, but our man, Kenny McLaughlin, came across the line, Rob, like so, arms in air in triumph, steps behind the 10th police officer, feet, who himself came across the line, hands on his knees, fully exhausted, having left it all on the field. And Kenny took some level of abuse for that one because he clearly had a little bit left in the tank. So it can be some of those years it can be a blowout, you know, and they get 6 members across the line before, you know, and we get 10 or vice versa. Last year was incredibly tight and exciting for all. And I really do think we're all grateful to the Roadrunners for giving us that extra competitive fire in the marathon, for those of us that are in the scoring range of that competition.
It is a competition that is depth, I guess, as well as speed, right? So I don't know, maybe we should have a summit at Roadrunners offices, get NYPD in, get you guys in, and we can talk about the rules of that if you guys think we should look at it. It could be a change, but I kind of like the way we set it up. It's like no man or woman left behind, right? That 10th, that competition for 10th ends up being a lot of drama. I like that.
Yeah, and a long-standing tradition that goes back before I joined the department. I would be loath to tinker with it.
I love it. I really love the way that it's set up. So there's also the competition at the Fifth Avenue Mile, Denis. And do you feel, because NYPD's had the best of you guys since I've been around, at the marathon, at the half marathon distance as well. What do you think for a shorter distance like the mile? Does FDNY have a little more speed? What do you think?
I think unfortunately in the mile they probably favor us. They have some really stunning individual contributors. Anthony Morales, I believe is his name. Is well under 3 hours in the marathon, which marks him under 5 minutes in the mile. So I think the 10th runner rule favors us in terms of sort of the team scoring mechanism. So we'll leave it all out there on the field on Fifth Avenue, including me warming up from the Rising race. My little people will be running down at the bottom of the park in the 4-year-old and 6-year-old bracket. So my warm-up will be from the finish line, zipping back up to catch my club at the top.
I love it. I really love it. And, every year, Denis, as we get into the month of September in New York City, we can't help but think about September 11th, 2001. We're thinking about it a lot this year, and even looking ahead already, Denis, somewhat to next year, which will be the 25th anniversary. And I always felt there is a connection in a way between the marathon and what happened on 9/11. I wasn't a part of the 2001 New York City Marathon, but to me, it's still an incredible thing that marathon even happened. Runners were crossing the Verrazano Bridge, with full view of Ground Zero, and that was still very much a scene of devastation, at that point, only weeks after the event. What does it mean for all of you at FDNY to be a part of events like this in September and in the fall? And how do you try to use these events to honor those that you lost on September 11th, 2001?
One way the department honors them is our form of perseverance. And of course, I was not hired back then either, but I know that in addition to the challenge of rescue and recovery down at Ground Zero, the department staffed every firehouse in every neighborhood, no matter what, for the days and weeks that followed. And I think that speaks to our ability to both remember and carry on at the same time. And we recall how that was done, and those stories are passed on from generation to generation within the fire department. And specific to the marathon, I can tell you, which will no longer be an inside aspect of our day. But when we depart from our muster point near the finish line to drive to Staten Island in the morning, we, of course, go down the West Side Highway before doing the tunnel to get to the Verrazano Bridge. And there's a caravan of 6 to 8 buses, depending on the head count. And we have staffers with handy talkies work in the front of each bus. And every year, as long as I've run, there's a moment of silence as we pass Ground Zero. And that is the case for new runners, probies that were hired after 9/11, guests, friends and family or wives that may be on the bus are sometimes surprised at the first time they see the moment of silence. But I think it's an important way that we can show that, during a joyous event, a competitive event, a wonderful day for the city, the marathon, the fire department does not forget as we drive past Ground Zero.
Yeah, Denis, that's appropriate, and we will never forget either at New York Roadrunners. It's such an important tragic part of our city's history. We know that we always like to say that the New York City Marathon is the best day of the year in New York City. We really believe it is, but we always want to make sure we remember the worst day. One of the worst days in the history of New York City is part of the way that we conduct this event as well. So thank you, Denis, for everything that you do, everything that FDNY does. We're excited to see you guys on Fifth Avenue, excited to see you on November 2nd. And to give credit, by the way, I want to make sure I'm giving your folks at FDNY credit. You guys have a huge lead all time over the NYPD and the Mayor's Cup and the Marathon, 20-7. So NYPD's been hot lately, but you guys still have that historical edge. So
I think it'll be a competitive first Sunday. Let's put it that way, Rob.
all right, sounds great. Denis, it's great to see you. I'll see you very soon, a couple of times this fall. All the best with your training, and we'll see you out there at the starting line.
Thanks for having me, Rob.
All right, Denis Sweeney from FDNY. Thank you so much, Denis, for joining us and for being a member of New York Roadrunners, of course, for all your service and your colleagues' service at FDNY. Now to the final part of our show, today's Med Minute.
Thanks, Rob. Welcome back to my mile-by-mile countdown to the 2025 TCS New York City Marathon. This week, we are counting down to mile 13 through 15, Queens. This is a little bit what you have to evaluate. Mile 13, Pulaski Bridge, Quinn, halfway. I always remember go to the halfway of the TCS New York City Marathon. It's time to evaluate. There's water station and you kind of sprint, but that bridge is iconic to just say, hey, I'm at the halfway mark. How am I doing? This is where the transition from physical to mental. People here want to hit the halfway mark. I was in the lead and I won, or I won the lead and I finished strong. You want to be able to just relate to say, hey, I'm in the mix with the people. Some people will try to make a move because we know what's ahead that's going to come to the Queensboro. So people are evaluating each other on this Brooklyn Pulaski Bridge, but be control of what you can, because this is only halfway. You have a long way to go, but good time to just say, hey, I think I can replicate what I have gone through, or I'm hurting a little bit, I need to slow down. This is where you need to talk to yourself. Say, I am ready, I'm willing, I'm doing this, and I'm at the halfway point. Let's see what can happen in the second half. My philosophy is always to run the second half fastest, but you can do that. And sometimes for me, I can't because of the competition up in the front. They make moves, you got to respond and things like that. But you can control your race at the halfway mark. Mile 14, this is where the bridge is. There's not a lot of crowd here. It's you and the bridge. Mile 15, you hear yourself breathe. You hear yourself saying, why have I done this? But you're doing it. You are climbing one of the biggest bridges there is, and you will be treated with amazing, you're thinking ahead. You say, I am here breathing my breath, control, working hard, but there's more to come. 11 miles of excitement.
All right, that does it for a very special episode of Set the Pace. We want to thank today's legendary guests, Sifan Hassan and Eliud Kipchoge, as well as the FDNY's Denis Sweeney. If you like the episode, make sure you go ahead and subscribe, leave it a rating, or send us a comment so we can hear from you. This obviously will help lots of other people find the podcast as well. All right, everybody, hope you enjoyed this great show. Enjoy the miles. We'll see you next week.